A very good morning to all. Today is World Students' Day, a festival designed to celebrate all the students in the world. Today's special celebration is presented by the students of class 7D. Let us begin our celebration with a prayer.
हमारी ही मुट्ठी में आकाश सारा, जब भी खुलेगी चमकेगा तारा. हमारी ही मुट्ठी में आकाश सारा, जब भी खुलेगी चमकेगा तारा. कभी ना ढले जो वो ही सितारा, दिशा जिससे पहचान संसार सारा. कभी ना ढले जो वो ही सितारा, दिशा जिससे पहचान संसार सारा. हमारी ही मुट्ठी में आकाश सारा, जब भी खुलेगी चमकेगा तारा. हथेली पे रेखाएं है सब अधूरी, किसने लिखी है नहीं जानना है. हथेली पे रेखाएं है सब अधूरी, किसने लिखी है नहीं जानना है. सुलझाने उनको ना आएगा कोई, समझना है उनको ये अपना कर्म है. अपने कर्म से दिखाना है सबको, उनका अपना उभरना है हमको. अंधेरी मिटाए जो नन्हा शरारा, दिशा जिससे पहचान संसार सारा. हमारी ही मुट्ठी में आकाश सारा, जब भी खुलेगी चमकेगा तारा. Thank you.
We now move on to the further proceedings with the poem composed by me. One man had a vision, he taught us to dare to dream, and however high he soared in the sky, he always held us in high esteem. He taught us to brave failure, which the desire to succeed could cure. The bridge of learning is the key to knowledge, which never ends, even after college. He taught us the power of education, the greatest weapon. His words and priceless thoughts are more valuable than the most expensive of yachts. So, on this day, on World Students' Day, let's remember and celebrate his sayings. Let's dare to dream, have the success desire, in the memory of the man who gave us wings of fire. Of course, I'm talking about late Dr. Abul Pakir Jainal-Abdin Abdul Kalam, the former president of our country. Today is his birth anniversary, and Students' Day is celebrated in his fond memory. Thank you, and I wish all of you a very happy Students' Day. Now I hand over to Patil.
Hello everyone, I am Patil and I will take you through the next segment. We will begin with the thought of the day, followed by the importance of the day.
Good morning everyone. I am VIPANCHI SOMASI, and on the occasion of Students' Day, celebrated every year on Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's birthday, 15th October, I will present before you a short and inspiring story following by the thought for the day. The story is Value Yourself. A speaker started off his seminar by showing $20 to the public. He asked the people, "Who wants this?" There was no surprise to see that all of them lifted their hands. He offered the money to give to one of them, but insisted that he will do something to it first. He crumpled the paper money and showed it to the crowd again. And repeated the same question. Still, everyone raised their hands. Then he dropped the money on the ground and stepped on it. He then offered it to the public again. The people gathered there still showed interest to take the money despite seeing how dirty the note was. He told the public, "No matter what I did to this money, you still want it. You all went in favor of my offer just because the value of the money never decreased despite all I did to it." Similarly, value yourself despite the painful conditions or failures. Therefore, the thought is, believe in yourself, work hard to achieve success. Value yourself irrespective of the failures or obstacles, and don't degrade yourself just because of temporary setbacks. Thank you.
Respected teachers and my dear friends, my name is ANUSHKA KALAVADE. I am studying in 7th standard in VPMS Memorial School. Today on the occasion of World Students' Day, I would like to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the importance of this day. This day is celebrated every year on October the 15th on former President APJ Abdul Kalam's birthday. The United Nations has declared this day to honor Mr. Kalam's love and dedication towards education and students. The day, apart from being the most loved Indian president and the missile man of India, Dr. Kalam was also a dedicated teacher. He had famously said that students are the future. Students are the people and the minds that are going to take our country forward. Being the students of our prestigious school and the builders of future India, on this World Students' Day, let's pledge together to take our country to the greatest heights in every field by following Dr. Kalam's famous quotes which say, "Dream, dream, dream. Dreams transform into thoughts, and thoughts result in actions." The student's mind is not just a vessel to be filled, but it's a fire to be ignited. Thank you.
That definitely was an insightful thought and great information about the importance of this day. We have a lot of performances in store for this special day. So get ready to see some extraordinary performances fabricated artistically and factually, like plays, mime, biography, portraits, collage, book review, and musical renditions, along with some facts, quotes, and a lot more.
Good morning. My name is Patil and today I'll be telling you some amazing facts about Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam was born on 15th October 1931 in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Kalam's full name is Abul Pakir Jainuluddin Abdul Kalam. Dr. Kalam has written several books such as Wings of Fire, India 2020, Turning Points, and many more. Dr. Kalam worked as a newspaper delivery boy when he was young to provide money to run his family and keep his siblings' primary education going. Dr. Kalam pursued aeronautical engineering from Madras Engineering College and joined ISRO in 1962. Thank you.
Sharing a few facts on Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam built the first space vehicle. In 1960, Dr. Kalam became involved with the DRDO's Aeronautical Development Establishment. In 1969, Dr. Kalam became Project Director for Satellite Launch Vehicles. The Rohini satellite series was successful and thus he was known as the Missile Man for launching ballistic missiles. Dr. Kalam became the President of India on July 25, 2002. Dr. Kalam received honorary doctorates from 48 universities and institutions from India and across abroad, and he also received Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan and the Bharat Ratna. But unfortunately, on his last day, Dr. Kalam was delivering a lecture at IIM Shillong. While giving the speech, he suffered a cardiac arrest that made him fall on the floor. Thank you.
Now, we are going to tell you some motivation quotes for students by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in his mother tongue, Tamil, and we will be translating the same to English.
கனவு காண்கள் ஆனால் கனவு என்பது நீ தூக்கத்தில் காண்பது அல்ல, உன்னை தூங்க விடாமல் பண்ணுவது எதுவோ அதுவே லட்சிய கனவு.
Dream is not something that you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep. நாம் அனைவருக்கும் ஒரே திறமை இல்லாமல் இருக்கலாம், ஆனால் திறமையை வளர்க்க அனைவருக்கும் ஒரே வாய்ப்புகள் உள்ளன.
All of us may not have the same talent, but everyone has the same opportunities to develop talent. உலகை மாற்ற நீங்கள் பயன்படுத்தக்கூடிய மிக சக்தி வாய்ந்த ஆயுதம் கல்வி.
Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. வாய்ப்புக்காக காத்திருக்காதே, உனக்கான வாய்ப்பை நீனே ஏற்படுத்திக் கொள்.
Do not wait for the opportunity. Make the opportunity for yourself. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Oh, I don't get these prayers, but they're so soothing to hear. Hey Abdul, see, it's a new teacher. Hey, how dare you sit next to Purohit sir? Get up and sit on the last bench right now. Oh, she scolded you so much. I hope we don't have to break our friendship because of this.
APJ reached home, looking sad. His mother was waiting for him at the door.
Oh, Abdul, why are you looking so sad? Did anything happen at school?
APJ tells his mother everything that took place in school today.
Oh, did you hear what happened at the school with Ram and Abdul?
Yes, I did. Abdul, my father has called you to our house. Oh my God, am I in trouble for this? I don't know. For whatever happened yesterday, you have to apologize to Abdul. Huh? From God's point of view, everyone is equal. It's your responsibility as a teacher to teach your students to live together despite their differences. From now on, you won't be teaching in the school. I'm sorry, Kalam. I regret being rude to you. Today, I learned the biggest lesson of my life. I see that you understood your mistake and will never repeat it ever again. You can teach in the school. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, Abdul.
Good morning, everyone. My name is AASNA and today I will share some details on APJ Abdul Kalam's life. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is the name of knowledge, glory and inspiration. Even if he is no longer among us, but his name and his deeds are and always will be motivating millions of Indians. His journey from selling newspapers to becoming the president of the nation is truly more than a miracle. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was born on 15th October 1931 in Rameswaram, Tamil Nadu, India. He was born to a very poor Tamil Muslim family. His father was a boatman and his mother was a housemaker. Due to poverty, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had to sell newspapers in his early childhood to run his family. In his school years, Kalam had average grades, what was described as a bright and hard-working student who had a strong desire to learn. He graduated in physics in 1954. He moved to Madras in 1955 to study aerospace engineering at the Madras Institute of Technology. He narrowly missed achieving his dream of becoming a fighter pilot as he placed 9th in the qualifiers and only 8 positions were available in the IAF. Abdul Kalam earned a degree in aeronautical engineering from the Madras Institute of Technology, and in 1958 he joined the Defence Research and Development Organization DRDO. In 1969 he moved to the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO when he was the project director of the SLV-3, the first satellite launch vehicle that was both designed and produced in India. Rejoining DRDO in 1982, Kalam planned the program that produced several successful missiles, which helped him earn the nickname Missile Man. Later, Kalam was sworn in as India's 11th president in July 2002. On July 27, 2015, he collapsed while delivering a lecture at the IIM Shillong and was pronounced dead from cardiac arrest soon afterward. Kalam wrote several books, including an autobiography, Wings of Fire. He was honored with the Padma Vibhushan and the Bharat Ratna Awards. Thank you. and friends. Today I will be performing an incident in APJ Abdul Kalam's childhood wherein he is a poor child and distributes newspapers to earn a living.
Good morning everyone and welcome to Bite Size series with your host Ms. SHAURYA Patil. Like every week, we are back with an interesting talk with someone whom we can call truly inspiring. The Honorable President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, has come to personally represent to many of our countrymen the best aspects of Indian life. Born in 1931, the son of a little educated boat owner in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, he has had an unparalleled career as a defense scientist. Known to everyone as the Missile Man, we are today in conversation with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his autobiography, Wings of Fire. We extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, and are grateful to you for honoring our request.
Thank you very much. I am pleased to be here.
Sir, please throw some light on your autobiography, Wings of Fire.
Well, it is just a simple book which highlights how a small town boy with big dreams went on to achieve what he set his heart on. It is a very humble compilation of all the important incidents of my life.
Sir, you have authored many inspirational books like Ignited Minds, Turning Point, etc., which have left a deep imprint on the minds of the readers. Like every author has a driving force to write, who is the inspiration behind your autobiography?
That's an interesting question. Oh, I owe the credit of presenting to you my life story after being coaxed by my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Arun Tiwari. He made me narrate whatever I've experienced in my life and he chronicled it for everyone to read.
He has indeed done the right thing, sir. What should one look forward to reading in this book?
Well, in the book, you will get to read about my journey from a little corner of Rameshwaram to the fascinating science laboratories. So, you will find in the book details about my childhood along with the story of modern India. The book also includes the accounts of my frustrated attempt to become an Air Force pilot and how I became a rocket engineer instead. It also talks about individuals who have had a profound influence on my life. This story is an account of not just my personal success, but also setbacks of the science establishment in modern India. It is a story of national aspiration.
Can you share some of your learnings with us?
Yeah, sure. There are umpteen things that I have realized in the due course of time. To name a few, importance of prayer and gratitude, never to do things half-heartedly, qualities of a good leader, the power of collaboration and acceptance of differences have all been written down in this book.
What is your message for the youth of our country?
I am glad you asked this. Children, leave your nest, for that is only how you will be able to achieve what you aspire for. You are the hope of the nation and you can make India's dreams come true.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational words. I am sure each one of us will contribute to make your words come true. Thank you, everyone. See you on next week at the same time for the next episode of Bite Size series. Thank you.
of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. Who doesn't know APJ Abdul Kalam, the Missile Man of India, the 11th President of our country? How nice would it be to have an island named after you? Wheeler Island in Odisha was renamed Abdul Kalam Island. I always wonder how he was so inspirational. He taught us many things, but one thing which inspired me the most was his adaptation and reaction to failure. He never stopped working and dreaming just because of failure. Instead, he worked harder. I am grateful to have had him give a speech in our school, but was unlucky enough not to meet him in person. In my opinion, he was the best political leader our country ever had. I would say that he was one of the smartest and most intelligent personality the world has seen yet. I wonder how one person could do so many things for himself, the next generation and humanity. He worked with ISRO, DRDO and so many more. I think that he totally deserved the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan. He deserved a lot more, for he is known worldwide for his work and his kind nature. Thank you.
Such mesmerizing performances. I was hooked on to watching them the whole time and just couldn't look away. Such a delight to watch these performances. Achisha will take you to the next segment. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Art is vast. Representing art in the form of theatre through script writing can be onerous. Mandala art that follows the play is equally worth the appreciation. We present to you a short act based on a discussion which takes place in the school.
Welcome students to the celebration of World Students' Day. Every year on 15th October, we celebrate Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's birth anniversary as World Students' Day. Now, I would like you all to tell me what you want to be when you grow up and why. Yes, Anushka, you go first.
When I was very young, I had heard about the Mars mission of India. My parents had also told me about the Chandrayaan mission by the scientists at ISRO, which is a huge Indian space research. Since then, I was very much fascinated by various space objects like stars, asteroids, and meteoroids. When I grow up, I would like to know more about these space objects, research, and discover new space objects. Hence, I want to become a space scientist when I grow up.
Very good. Who else? Yes, Ekagra, you go on.
When I grow up, I want to be a pilot because aviation has always been one of those things which has caught my eye. Flying in the air makes me feel free from gravity. Because of technology today, everybody can fly, whereas man was never designed to fly.
Excellent. Now, let's move on.
I want to speak too.
Yes, Ritik, go for it.
When I grow up, I want to become a doctor and serve a society. I want to take away sufferings and pain from people by giving them treatment and healthcare. I want to make them happy by making them healthy. And if I'm successful, I will be happy too.
Performances, indeed friends. Reading about Dr. Kalam itself is considered to be great knowledge. What can be said then about the person who has been really fortunate in accompanying Dr. Kalam in his journeys? May I now request Mr. Srijan Singh, our Executive Chairman, to share a few words about Dr. Kalam and add joyous colors to the day.
Hello everyone. Today I want to tell you a story about how humility brings about greatness. This is a story from the life of the 11th President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who's also known as the Missile Man, and I also call him the Smile Man, okay, because he used to smile all the time. And this is a story which is very personal to him, something which he told me, and something which I think if you reflect, you will also learn something truly amazing. One of the greatest quality of our missile man was the fact that he was the most humble human beings you'll ever meet. I lived in the same house. We always ate together for lunch and dinner and even breakfast. Every single time he would wipe his table clean, whatever was fallen, he would clean it. If something was not in the right place, he would set it himself. The President of India will not ask for somebody to come and wipe his table. He will do it himself. And the reason he did it was because he believed that if I am using the table, then it doesn't take too much of an effort to clean it. I'll clean it myself. Instead of asking someone, he doing it, then explaining, he said, I have dirtied the table, I will clean it. That was his humility. Now I'll tell you one particular story where I think you have seen the videos of that particular incident, and there have been many such incidents. Whenever we would go to an event, the stage would be set up, big, massive stage with huge hoardings behind and many chairs on this dais for big people to sit. Now this is 2012. 2012 is about a decade away now. Okay, so in 2012 we went to a place, one such function, and there were many senior bureaucrats, many senior IAS officers, Neta logs, and all these big guns were there. Dr. Kalam used to call them big guns. These are big guns. So all the big guns were there, and Dr. Kalam was the chief guest. And the seats, the chairs were all arranged. So there were big chairs, and in the middle of the big chairs was a throne. It was a huge chair with a big back. It was almost like a throne. And Dr. Kalam was to sit on that throne, big chair, and on the not so big chair, the other big guns were sitting, and behind we were sitting, the staff. Okay. So as soon as he got up on the stage and he saw this big chair, one big throne in the middle of all the chairs, he stopped. Okay, stopped. And then he told me, you fellow, you remove this chair and you put your chair. Okay, I don't want a throne. Let it be normal. Now this throne was heavy, big chair, very heavy. So there was a colleague of mine who was the PA to Dr. Kalam, and I was the advisor. We just got along the job. We started pulling the chair, and we were going to put our chair in it. Throne was heavy, so we were pulling it. And then when Dr. Kalam saw that two of us were pulling it and it's slightly difficult, he also started pushing it back. And there were the other big guns, the big bureaucrats, the big Neta logs. They were seeing what is happening. And they saw that two people are pulling the chair and going to put a new chair, and the president is also helping them. But they also quickly reached out. But they didn't reach out to pull the chair out. They reached out for their junior staff. They said, you come up on the stage, pull this chair. But nobody was there to help with their own hands. And three of us, we managed to pull. Of course, we got some help later. And we pulled it, put a new chair. And I was surprised, that two things. One is that Dr. Kalam noticed that the throne, the big chair, was not needed for anyone. Everybody should sit on equal chairs. So when the event ended and we were in a car going to the new event, I asked him, sir, one thing I understood, that you didn't want to sit on the chair. I noticed that. He said, but there was one more thing. Did you notice that the other big guns, they called for their junior staff to remove the same chair? Okay, so they did not do it themselves. So he said, why is it needed? Why don't we do our own work whenever we can? No work is small. Even if it is pulling a chair, cleaning a table, do it yourself if you can. Why wait for somebody else to do your work? And that is why he was saying this is how great leaders should be. Great leaders should be humble enough to do whatever task is to be done, to ensure time is saved and work is done. Small things, one should not worry somebody else, you come, you do, you come, you do. I will not do it because I'm a big gun. And that, he said, is an important lesson. And he said, you look at me, I've got a lesson from my boss about it. And then he went back, he told me a story of 1989. In 1989, India was launching the Agni missile. Tough phase. Foreign powers were looking at us. They didn't want us to do the Agni missile successfully. So Dr. Kalam was then, he was senior, but he had his bosses. So Dr. Kalam's boss was a wonderful person called Dr. Arunachalam. Dr. Arunachalam was the head of all research at DRDO. He was heading DRDO. And Dr. Kalam was heading the missile side of it. And he said, just before the days when we were about to launch in 1989, something happened. What happened? He said one final day, just before the launch, we had a complete project review. Just before the launch. And in that project review, we did this. We had a long meeting and it went on till 2 a.m. in the morning. Everybody had worked very hard and people were tired. Of course, Dr. Kalam made the main presentation. He was the chief of the project and he was making a presentation to his bosses. And he said, we had only one car and we had to go to the blockhouse, the guest house. And these were missile ranges, small guest house. He said we took there was one car which was of his boss. So he said his boss said, I will drop you. So his boss went and he said, I sat next to Arunachalam, Dr. Arunachalam. And he said, I don't know what happened, but I think I dozed off, slept off. It was 2 a.m. Work had just finished. And he said, when I woke up, it was my boss who was giving me a small nudge. Get up, get up. And then he realized that half an hour had passed and they had reached the blockhouse. And then he told me that I think my head was on his shoulder, my boss's shoulder, and I was sleeping off. And he said, my boss didn't wake me up. He didn't feel bad about it. He felt good that he was helping his junior take some rest, a well-deserved rest. Right? There was no hierarchy. There was only friendship. Right? There was compassion. Because the work was done well. So his boss said, you were sleeping. I wanted you to rest. Because tomorrow again you have to make the project work. So you got half an hour. I let you sleep. And he said he didn't even move himself because my head was on his shoulder. How many bosses will be there today who would let their employees or their subordinates rest with their head on their shoulder after work? This is humility. And this is respect for work. And this is a very important lesson. And he said that great generals, great leaders have this great compassion. And this compassion inspires their team to achieve great results. When too much is lost in hierarchies and who will do what work and I will not touch this work because I am the boss, teams don't function. Great leaders roll up their sleeves and do whatever is needed to make the project successful. And this is inspirational. That's a great lesson. And in that context, I remembered and I told him, sir, I also want to tell you a story. In 1770s, I told him the story. In 1770s, when Americans, the US was not formed yet, but the Americans were fighting their war of independence against the British, there was their famous general. You know their famous general's name? George Washington. George Washington was the commander-in-chief. Now one day, George Washington was going on a horseback, inspecting. And he saw 4 soldiers in 1770s pushing a cart of wood and also of ammunition across a river. And they will push the cart, but it was heavy, so the cart will come back again and they will push it again and they will come back again and they could not successfully push it across the small river. So this one went on. And he also saw that there was a major, army officer, who was yelling at his men, saying, push harder, push it, take it across the river. But the major was standing far away. So George Washington, the major didn't recognize George Washington. So George Washington came down, he took his horse, comes to the major and said, "What is happening?" He said, "These soldiers are unable to push this thing across the cart across the river." So he said, "Okay, why don't you also help them?" He said, "Oh, I'm a major in the army, I'm an officer. I don't push carts, let the soldiers do it. I'm going to stand here and order." So George Washington, the major, still didn't recognize him. He got down from his horse and he pushed that cart, helped the soldiers, and the cart now just needed one more push. It went across the river. And then George Washington walked to the major and he said, "Major, I want to tell you something. Next time you need help, call for the commander-in-chief." Who's commander-in-chief? Is like the highest person in the army. He said, "Next time you need help pushing carts, send help, ask me. I'm the commander-in-chief, I will help." Now that's how great leaders inspire. The major also was, "Oh my God, what did I do? I didn't realize it was the commander-in-chief." And the major also learnt his lesson. The soldiers also got inspired that the commander-in-chief is willing to stand with them and push the cart. That is how great teams are built. When all of you rise in life and do great things in life and become great leaders in life, remember one thing: great leaders are inspiring people who are humble, who are there to stand with their soldiers, who are there to stand with their team, who are there to roll up their sleeves and do whatever it takes to get project done. The greatest president of India was willing to wipe his table to keep it clean. The greatest president of India's boss was willing to not move his body so that his junior then, Dr. Kalam was a junior then, could rest. Remember those lessons. They make you great. They don't reduce you. By doing work with your hands, your mind actually opens up. Hierarchies disappear. Friendships appear. Commitment comes. Compassion appears. And these commitment, compassion and friendship leads to great teams. And great teams achieve great projects. And great projects will make you great yourself.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the wonderful experiences. The national anthem and a small recital supporting the credits, both being played on their synthesizer, conclude our celebrations for today. Once again, wishing you all a very happy Students' Day.